I've had some amazing experiences at university, and certain life skills that people I've met. I don't regret it at all. Maybe you could say that if I was to stick out gymnastics the last 4 years, I could be a bit further in my career. But it's all about weighing up what values you have and where you want to go in life. So I don't regret going at all. And I've kind of tried to put myself in a position now where all my experiences over the last 15 years have led me to this point where I can fully focus going towards Commonwealth Games, Europeans, and the Olympics. That's the pinnacle. So that's what I'm ramping up to right now. And yeah, as a person in whole, I'd like to think that the uni has kind of rounded me as a person. And yeah, the friends I've made, the education point, even as an athlete, I think there's certain things that the discipline, the being structured, making sure everything's to a T. There was nothing, I wouldn't have been able to finish my degree and do gymnastics at the same time unless everything was to the on time kind of thing. So yeah, it's definitely helped me in my career as a gymnast and hopefully post gymnastics.
Yeah. So how did you manage to do all the work, but then also manage to do your training at the same time? What sort of, how did you manage it?
Yeah, it was tough. It was really, really hard. It was a lot of chopping and changing. As I said before, I went part-time, full-time, changed courses. But I had a lot of support from my university. They helped me through the whole way. And I like to think that I'm quite open. So if I needed help, I'd always ask for it. And I have very supportive parents. And again, with British Gymnastics, they've supported me over the last 4 years. So I would say I'd recommend everyone going to university. As a high performance athlete, it's very intense. You need to dedicate a lot of time. But I do believe that I made the right decision in all kind of thing. But yeah, it's all about your trade-offs. It's everyone has their own path. And I think that, yeah, that's how my journey has gone so far.
Yeah, it's interesting that you say that you'd recommend it to everyone, even though you're at such a high level in your sport. Why?
I mean, for me, it's like, I think everyone should do what they think's best for their own career. And I do think there was a trade-off for me. As I said before, I think maybe I could have gone more gymnastics. But again, we were in COVID and I made the best decision I thought was the right one at the time. With so much uncertainty with the sport and some gymnasts having 4 or 5 months out for the first time, most gymnasts have never had that amount of time out. I thought it was the best decision. And like I said, I don't regret that decision. I think that you could wait till after your career. Gymnastics is one of those sports where you get one chance. If you miss it, then it's not like football. You can go to 35. Most gymnasts are retired by 30. So yeah, it's about weighing it up. At the time, that was the decision that me, my family, my coaches, we all decided. I moved to Nottingham. I moved away from home, which is, again, another added pressure. And maybe in my gymnastics career, I'd be slightly further along. But yeah, the experience I've had and the lessons I've taken away, I wouldn't change it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I've spoken to Josh, and he's always an advocate for uni as well. Mm-hmm. But he's doing architecture at Birmingham. Mm-hmm. I don't know which one in Birmingham, but yeah, and it is a lot. And some days he comes in and he's really happy, and he's like really happy with the decision he's made to do the third year. And then some days he's like, don't go to uni, don't do it. Yeah. So, there's ups and downs with everything, but was it just like a bit more extreme when you're at uni? Like the ups were like really high and the lows were just, I don't want to go on. Like, I don't want to do anything.
Yeah, it was like, I make it sound like I wasn't struggling. I really struggled. It was really, really tough. It was tough on not just me. It was tough on my career. There was trade-offs. So I went to university and moved away from home. I moved to a different club. So that was tough. That was trying to acclimatize. And also with university, there's the social side. There's a lot of distractions that you need to be able to navigate through. And I somehow, I wouldn't say everything was perfect. I think I defo had the benefits of going to university. I went out with my friends, but I also knew as I kind of matured that sometimes you need to stay at home and you need to work and you can't go out with your friends and do this, that. And that was a sacrifice I chose to make. And I think I wouldn't be sat here today having finished a degree if I didn't make those sacrifices. Everything I tried to do was in the best interest of my gymnastics career and my degree.
Yeah. I mean, even just as an elite athlete, you have to make those sorts of calls. Like, even if you're not at uni, like, you have to always look at what's best for yourself in whatever situation you're doing. And that means weighing up the good bits, the bad bits, and what you're gaining, what you're losing, like in regards to everything. That can be said with literally everything in terms of training, in terms of competing, in terms of making routines, in terms of going to uni or doing anything like that, going out. Pretty much everything is this the best thing that I could be doing right now?
Yeah. And I think with gymnastics, because it's so intense and it's not like other sports where you can take time out and you have to be in the gym every day kind of thing. And that was one of the things I found very hard I knew that going into it, it was going to be a hard uni in the morning, training, then more studying afterwards, and then the same again the next day kind of thing. And I think that's one of the things maybe with America, they have an amazing system where athletes are able to balance their studies and their training, and you're surrounded by athletes doing the same things as you. Whereas in the UK, it's a bit different. There's with these niche sports, the ones that aren't football, rugby, you're on your own. If you don't go to your lectures, if you don't submit your work on time, no one's going to be there pushing you kind of thing. So that's what I always had in the back of my mind is there's a goal in sight. And even with gymnastics, you know that you set yourself these targets and you have to take one step at a time. What is the next step to get to the final destination? And that's how I looked at it.
That's fair enough. Yeah. So what would you say to someone else who's in the position that you were in, going to uni and trying to train at the same time, whether it be gymnastics or something else?
So yeah, I look at it in two ways now. I don't regret my personal decision.
Yep.
But if there was an 18-year-old gymnast that came to me and asked, should I go to university at 18? I would say you'd need to weigh up what you want in life and what you value kind of thing. I think there's always time to go to university later. Of course, you can go after your career and you only have one shot at the gymnastics career. So you need to make sure that you feel it was the best decision. I made that decision because we were in COVID and there was just no one knew what was happening the next 4 years. So I thought that was the best decision for me. But I would say as an elite athlete, if you wanted to really focus on your career, I would hold off just because of the distractions I know of going to uni. And probably if you were to ask me to do it now, I don't think maybe I would have coped so well. But yeah, I think that a lot of people are scared by the idea of being in debt and stuff. But for me, my personal experience, I think the life experience, the person I've tried to become as a whole has been worth that. That's how I feel about it. But yeah, if another gymnast, I would say maybe you need to weigh it up with your parents, your coach, and your family. But yeah, there's time afterwards, so don't feel pressured to go at 18 like I did, kind of thing.
Nice. Good advice, I'd say.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.